I'm bringing the shit back. Yeah, fuck with me, I put your skull back. Yeah, I got a gun. Every time I hit the block, I spun. Niggas flowing. I got thick cat swag, I be going. And little niggas see something, I'ma hit it. I got the ratchet and that shit is split. Your brains, yo. You be leaning on the curve like, oh no. Your bitch on my dick, she tryna fuck me. I go R-A-C-K-E-D. Yeah, I'm raped out, bitch, so you can see me. They call me Rack the Wildlife. That's what these stupid dumb bros call me. I be on my block, breezy mode, I stand up. Catch me, lean hard, I go in the paint. I be always back cause I'm on that shit, man. I'm on that Super Cloud 88. Catch me on my grind, I be sick. I never saw these niggas hate on me, but they hate on me from my back cause they must see my bitch ass. Yeah, nigga, yeah, know how that shit, and she could make a clap when I'm fucking that was so good that I could take a nap. Man, I got bars. I ain't run no cars. Got a couple followers on Twitter, couple 3 million. Yeah, I'm trying to get it there, cause if I ever get there, I promise you I'ma get me. The money ain't gonna change shit. I'm so be that hood fella, dirty. I can laugh and I can quiet all day. Yeah, you know I throw my shit and let it spray. Day and night. My goons all so sick like they playing for the right. Yeah, they shooting the riot when these niggas ball. Fuck what you talking about, dog. Just seen the white boy, we on his head. Cause it don't matter that we squat over there. You already know I'm loyal. I go Loyalty. Loyalty. Don't hate on me. Add the Y and switch that G. Nigga, use a bitch type nigga. Call you young motherfucker. Hop up off my dick, nigga. Be rhyme with the ratchets. Catch me on the block. Trapping with that semi-automatic. Have your brains all the fucking back of that caddy. I just be picking it up and I dropped it down. I fucked it, then I ducked it. And I did it for the principal. This shit is like a substitute. This game is all fucked up. What the fuck you think I rap for? Trap game fucked up. What you think I sell crack for? These niggas bags be skimpy as shit. Little dimes the size of my pinky. Fuck all these niggas and these dumb bitches. Yeah, holla at me, my name go Wally, man. I only spit flames, I ain't got that game for. Holla at Wale, thanks.